Yeah,
I love that she was like, we got to do this for Tennessee. It made my heart smile.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. The whole Memphis thing is just crazy. Rest in peace, Dolph. That whole case. Some of the details of that's getting interesting. It's like for you, like you're such a fan of just everything. Like, I kind of look at you as like a.
Well, let's talk about the Dolph trial for 2 seconds. I know you don't want me to get hung up here because you're my friend and don't want me to get in trouble. But all I want to say about the Dolph trial is I was blown away that the Dolph trial opened on a Monday, closed on a Friday, and had a deliberated jury return a verdict back in 5 days.
Oh, it was fast.
And we have been watching Jeffrey
Young Thug,
sit down in the DeKalb County Jail for years.
Yep.
It is, man, I don't like to get in the middle of stuff, and some of the stuff that he was accused of is extremely heinous, and if it's true, he should be held accountable like any other criminal. But, man, it just seems like one of the greatest injustices I've ever seen happening down there, man. And it's getting to the point, man, Kev, I would tell you something, Kev. I don't talk about this much, Bubba, but something I'm into. When I'm writing music, I don't listen to music.
Yeah.
So I listen to like podcasts, and it's somewhere between comedy and true crime. Mm-hmm. And my preference of keeping up with true crime isn't like the eerie stuff. I like watch Law and Crime with Jesse on YouTube. Are you familiar with this channel?
Yeah.
I'll watch Bruce Rivers.
Okay.
I'll watch like I got a few of these different kind of lawyer things that I'll watch. These kind of lawyer things that I'll go. And then if I'm really interested in what Jesse Weber's talking about, I'll just go watch that day of the trial. I get that nerded out about like active trials when they're happening. I think it's because my mama used to watch them. She obsessed about them. We were kids. I've never talked about this in my life.
Court TV was a thing.
Yeah, I've never talked about this in my life.
What do you think? Well, what do you think about the Thug thing? Because it feels to me as if it's going to get thrown out. At least it and then I
think they're just, if it doesn't get thrown out and it actually goes in there, they'll either find him guilty or the jury will hang. But the problem becomes, I think that he's going to end up getting out of the case, and I think he's going to have the biggest class action lawsuit against DeKalb County in American history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's 120-some people on that case. I think the DA overshot. I think that I don't know what she was thinking. I think she made
Fannie Willis, right?
She made a mountain out of a molehill, and there was some really, really, really bad stuff that happened. There were bodies involved. There was murders, murder for hire plots. I mean, it had all the makings of what looked like it should be a big thing. Hey, Mama. Hey, Chachi, Bubby.
We have 3 dogs.
Can somebody take them out? Chachi.
Yeah, Chum, will you take him out, Chum?
What a fucking
Yeah. And what about Scary got mad today because
Just to get that fucking
Scary's
dog
like,
out
why
of
am
here.
I not going to L.A.? I was like, because you got to watch the dogs.
Yeah.
Like,
You did bring a dog.
I was like, you brought a dog. So you got to stay back with your dog. The meet and greet seemed to go quick. Huh?
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 20. It felt great. Kiss. Look, camera kiss.
Shots to the bunny. A pod swap is coming soon.
The cock swap.
The pod swap.
Oh.
The pod swap. The
I love that my wife immediately made it a sexual
She said
thing.
cock swap.
She said, are we cock swapping?
I was like, what is happening?
What does that
You
mean?
signed me up without my permission.
What? Oh man.
Love you, sexy woman.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting too because like, do you ever get into these? I find myself sometimes watching them, but it's a little different because I know like a lot of these guys, so I try not to. But like the hood documentaries that they be putting out, where they'll tackle like the Jacksonville hip hop scene, or
how accurate you think some of that stuff is? Who in that scene do you think actually takes their time and gets their information?
That's
right?
the problem. I just had this conversation.
I will tell you who gets the paperwork right is
1090 JK for sure.
Jake gets the paperwork right.
100%. But those
love
hood
him or hate him.
documentaries,
I have a lot of respect for him
No,
because
he gets it right.
takes the time to get it right.
yeah, and I don't know if I've ever heard him be wrong, and he feels like the kind of guy that would have the humility to be like, this wasn't.
No, I think he'd jump on the grenade. If he
Yeah.
was really wrong, he strikes me as the kind of guy that would immediately be like, I'm wrong.
Those
What do you think about
documentaries-
Trap Lore? You think he's
oh no, man. My whole thing is
you're in a tight spot here. You can't say you think
no.
right.
I think that when you're, I just had this
I
conversation.
prayed we'd talk about cool stuff like this.
Think about this. Like, we're creating a culture of hip hop fans who don't look at hip hop artists as people. They look at them as criminal interests on their favorite YouTube channel.
Overall, what they're doing is not good.
They're not even into
genre.
the music.
Yeah,
like,
for
let's be
sure.
honest, right? Like
It's
a lot
into
of
the
these
stories,
guys,
not the music.
yeah. So it's like when someone like Fulio, gets murdered, going and looking at the comments on some of these posts are like,
Yeah.
it's like there's just no humanity. Like
Right.
with some of these fans, they just don't give a fuck. And so with Trapper Ross, like, I know he made like a 3.5 hour long King Von hip hop's first serial killer video. I mean, I just, if you can't prove that, that's a pretty crazy thing to put on someone who's dead.
Right.
You know, so I don't know, man. I think that a lot of that stuff is entertaining. Like, I think Trapper Ross does a good job of putting together entertaining content. Now,
But my wonder becomes is I think about it as journalism, is that who is actually doing the research to get it right, and it makes you wonder. And I don't know. I've watched some of Trapper Ross's stuff.
no,
I thought
he's
it
got
was good.
entertaining stuff for
Yeah,
sure.
it sucks, man, because I'm such a hip hop fan to watch that part of hip hop. You got to think in our era when Tupac got killed, there wasn't a bigger news story in the world. When Jam Master Jay got
and we couldn't
killed,
go on YouTube and watch. I mean, if Tupac died today,
Yeah.
There'd be so much content to digest about it.
for sure.
It probably his murder probably would have gotten solved.
100%. No, they would have filmed it all the way to where it would have happened. They would have been able to track back every video taken of that Benz coming down the strip or people waving at each other. All that stuff would have been able to happen in those moments.
Talk to me, man. We haven't really talked about this. I've heard you talk about it, but I know how much of a big deal it is to even have like someone like Eminem acknowledge who the fuck you are.
Dude.
But to have Eminem sample your song and to be able to perform with him, to be able to you've been performing Lose Yourself on stage.
Yeah, for years.
And,
for years.
And can you like I said, I know you've talked about it a lot, but I just feel like it's such a I just know how big of a deal that was for you, man. So, it's like it's getting weird.
It's getting weird, dude. No, dude. Marshall's he's the GOAT. Anybody who says Eminem's not the greatest rapper ever is just lying. They're just, they're allowing other factors to
I think
get involved.
if we're talking about the talent of rapping,
Yes.
yeah,
I would argue to say that, man, I don't know. There's a lot of, we'll never see nobody better.
yeah.
I think there will be. I don't think that I'll live long enough to see it.
Yeah, I think
know what I mean?
I think lyrically, I think I always say we're in the middle of this era of Kendrick Lamar, and it's almost like watching Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, we just kind of take advantage of Steph Curry and LeBron's on TV. But like we lived through the Eminem thing, and we're still here, so we knew what it was like. Right. But I think during that era, we didn't look at Eminem as the greatest of all time. We just loved Eminem.
100%. I don't know the Kendrick moment. I don't know. Kendrick's got a unique thing that's happening right now that's very Eminem-ish as far as that dude's been putting out hits a long time now.
For sure, it's been 10 years. 2012 is when Good Kid, Mad City came out.
He's a decade into putting out real, absolute, solidified bangers.
Bodies of work.
Eminem had a decade like that. I think that his follow-up to Not Like Us will be one of the most important bodies of work.